Tonight, the Hoosiers, not losers. Indiana gets an 80-65 victory over Illinois and one of the best wins on the road of the Mike Woodson era.
College basketball is back as the number 13 Indiana Hoosiers open their highly anticipated season against the Ohio Valley Conference favorites, the Morehead State Eagles. And good evening, everyone. Griffin Epstein alongside my good friend Jack Edwards. Jack, these Hoosier fans have been waiting a long, long time for this evening.
Welcome to another Palm Springs Power pregame show presented by Agua Caliente Casinos. Cole Pavilio, Griffin Epstein here on another beautiful day in Palm Springs. Cole, a really exciting night. The Power renew their rivalry with the Havasu Heat. It's $3 beer night at the ballpark for the final time this season, and also Agua Caliente Casinos night.
That's the four-guard lineup for Morehead State. Freeman will not start. It will be Tassan Redding instead off the bench with the rest of the starting four. For Indiana, their starting five: Thompson, Hood-Schifino, Jackson Davis, Kopp, and Thompson. Inside to Gross. Indiana native working on Thompson. Shot clock down to 5. Gross is finding out the players are a little bit bigger and stronger in D1 than at the NAIA level. It's been held to just 4 points after averaging 25 points last year with Olivier Nazarene. Thompson's already tried 2 threes, but the third time is the charm.
Got some nice technique, Griffin. He's got a bit of threat from beyond the arc. If he can have that at a 30-35% clip this year, that's a really big add for Indiana in terms of their offensive repertoire.
Become a real stretch four. I mean, you think of him freshman and sophomore year under Archie Miller. He couldn't shoot anywhere on the floor unless he hit the three-point line. Wild shot from Wolf doesn't go, and here go the running Hoosiers again. Johnson decides to slow it down this time. Hoosiers only had 4 fast break points, but again, I think that number is a little deceiving. You look at the 20 points off turnovers, and it shows you how much the Hoosiers have gotten up and down the floor. Something we noticed in the exhibitions, it's translated today. Hood-Schifino, that's pure. Give the 4-star freshman a little bit of space, and he won't miss that much. 4 points for the freshman, and Indiana has a 17-point lead. This is their biggest of the evening.
He's the kind of guy, when you get in the half court, very few things he cannot do on the offensive end.
Redding fell, and the foul will go on Kopp.
Yeah, just past his chest there, got a bit of feet tangled up there. I'm interested to see how Xavier Johnson handles these next few moments. 2 personal fouls at the moment, played just 9 minutes so far. He's got to kind of stamp his authority on things. You don't want this to become too much of a discussion point this year if he's got a starting spot nailed on. He's got a great backcourt partner in Hood-Schifino. Also a bit of a rival, though, in terms of being that primary ball handler.
It's a fascinating story. Xavier Johnson is a fascinating player with all his ups and downs. It was very up and down for him last season, but he finished on a high note, a big reason Indiana had success in March. Wolf traveled. Another turnover for Morehead State. Coach Spradlin called it poor floor balance for the Eagles, and they have been unable to solve it today, but you got to give credit to this Indiana defense.
14 turnovers, Griffin. It's not a pretty number in the slightest there, obviously.
The IU student section is giving Jake Wolf, the Lipscomb transfer, a very hard time right now. One of the toughest atmospheres to play in the country. 17,222 today. A sellout crowd for this season opener. The more anticipated IU seasons in the last decade or so. Gross tipped it to Jackson Davis, but they'll call a foul. That's Gross's second. We go back to Xavier Johnson, Jack. He had a bumpy first 2 games, even in the exhibition, and Mike Woodson said right now he's playing too fast, and he has to understand, especially with Hood-Schifino now on the team, he doesn't have to do everything. Speaking of Hood-Schifino, he goes down hard. The shot won't go, but he'll have 2 shots at the line. But you mentioned it, though. Hood-Schifino can potentially add to Xavier Johnson's game, but it can also bring added pressure to Johnson because he's not the primary ball handler, and that's a position that he's not used to, whether at Pitt or this past year at IU.
I think what Woodson and Indiana will hope that Hood-Schifino can offer is a lessened amount of pressure on Johnson to make it work right now. You obviously want it to happen sooner rather than later. You want the season to progress too much. You get into those Xavier games, the North Carolinas, the Kansases of the world, when you've got these great non-cons later on the schedule. Not to disrespect Morehead State or look past this game right now, But he does have to kind of figure out where his level of aggressiveness lands for this Indiana team. And Huchefino has been a very special player so far for Indiana, so it can't hurt to have more good players.
Never can. Indiana certainly added 2 really good ones in Renew and Huchefino. They lost 4 players to the portal, but just 1 was a starter in Parker Stewart. Indiana by far the most production returning in the Big Ten, 83% of their scoring returning. Morehead State looking for an answer. Thelwell off the mark. Tipped and falls to Huchefino. What a pass to Jackson Davis. Oh, he couldn't finish. Tom Allen might want to look at Jalen Huchefino. That was a beautiful pass. Wolf. 3-ball rattles in, and he points to the 3 to the Indiana student section, trying to quiet them. There has been a lot of trash talk between both of these teams. Emotions running high between these conference favorites.
Look, you don't want to poke the bear that is the Indiana student section.
Well, Wolf steals it again. He's on the run and finishes off the glass. Takes another look to the student section and gives them some more words. 5-0 run for Jacob Wolf, who Preston Sprouton says is one of their big captains, their only returning starter. Averaged 6 points last year.
Yeah, it's a very choice words for the student section there.
Cannot repeat them here on the air.
Can't? No.
Thompson looking for Jackson Davis. That is a complete mismatch on the guard, Thelwell, and he just rushed it.
Indeed. Took it too quick.
So it was a 12-point lead at the half. Morehead State trying to chip away. Pass too high for Gross. Sprouting and Gross and Morehead State want a foul, but they're not going to get it. And the Indiana student section is back yelling at Jake Wolf. Well, we can't repeat that, but chanting, you suck. The student section, the largest in the country here at Assembly Hall. And they've come in full force today.
Got Renew on, changing the back in the front court for Indiana.
Grace Thompson out. Jackson Davis is doubled to Renew. Johnson. Oh, was looking for Jackson Davis. That pass came out of nowhere and a little bit too hot. Those are the plays that certainly get Mike Woodson frustrated.
Indeed. No, that one I think was just a case of he expected Jackson Davis to kind of sit a little bit more as that one was going to kind of be lobbed up to him. Timing a little bit off there. I think Johnson kind of just finding his zone in terms of how he wants to kind of have his rhythm with this team so far.
Well, Indiana got out to a 19-point lead early in the first couple minutes of the half. Thought this one might be over, but Morehead State has cut it to 13. 15:51 left to go in the second half. Season opener from Assembly Hall. Back in a moment on Big Ten Plus.
Be Maryland basketball in their black uniforms, Hoosiers in their cream uniforms. Maryland will get it into Jahari Long, point guard off the bench for the Terps. Reese around his screen, driving to the paint, stripped from behind by Bates and falls to Jalen Huchefino. He gets it ahead to Bates, he'll hold it up there for the Hoosiers. Indiana trying to take the lead with 13 minutes remaining. In the hands of the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, Jalen Huchefino. He's around a screen, gets it to Miller, top of the key for the Hoosiers. Inside to Jackson Davis on the left block expended. Backing down, double team, Miller, Kopp, left corner three, air ball, but Renew pulls it down, blocked from behind though by Scott. Terps basketball, what a play by Scott. Maryland the other way, all knotted at 43. Who can break the deadlock? Oh, Hart behind the back, fancy footwork into the lane, but Bates stays with him. Now backing down Bates, back out to Young. They quickly go back down to Hart, spinning again in the lane, off the glass, doesn't go. Hart on the floor, no whistle, pulled down by Kopp. Indiana basketball. Hoosiers head the other way, tied at 43. Huchefino around his screen, floater in the lane, he's bumped, and a foul on Maryland on the shot. It'll be 2 free throws for Jalen Huchefino. They're trying to give Indiana its first lead of the second half. 12.
If that's on Reese, it's 4. I believe it is.
Yes, it is. Wow. I think we were both a little surprised. Kevin Willard just left him in the game when he got his third foul. That is a huge, huge play in this game. Reese has been really good defensively down low. So Huchefino misses the first free throw off the front iron. Maryland's going to make a parade of changes here. 3 guys coming off the bench, 3 out. Carey, Long, and the aforementioned Julian Reese. Well, I'll take a seat. We probably won't see Julian Reese another 5+ minutes, you'd think, with 4 fouls. Second for Huchefino, nothing but net. So the Hoosiers take the lead. 44-43 with 12:20 left to play here from Chicago. Spot in the Big Ten tournament semifinals on the line. Terps basketball. Running the weave at the top of the key. It's Young. He's got a scheme. Driving into the lane. Gets to the corner. Hart for three. Brack iron no good. Bouncing around and it falls to Renew. Indiana basketball. Uchafino will bring it up for the Hoosiers and slow it down. 12 minutes left to play. Uchafino around his screen at the free-throw line. Driving in. Double pumps. Front iron shot doesn't go. Offensive board. Jackson Davis lays it in. And one. The hoop and the harm by TJD. Timeout on the floor. 46-43. Indiana in front. And the momentum on the side of the Cream and Crimson. 11:54 left to play from Chicago. Back on the other side on WIUX 99.1. Welcome back to Indiana basketball on WIUX. Your home for Hoosier Sports. Griffin Epstein, Max Parker in the United Center in downtown Chicago, Illinois. The Big Ten Tournament quarterfinals. Indiana leads 46-43. Trace Jackson Davis at the line to convert an and one, and he does. Makes the free throw, and the lead is 4 for Indiana, 47-43 with 11:50 left to play. Terps will bring the ball up. They haven't scored in 2:30. Young on the right side of the wing. Guarded by Malik Renew. That's a mismatch. Around his screen, pulls up at the logo. Tried to get it inside, deflect, fell right back to him. Puts up a jumper, doesn't fall. Offensive rebound for Hart. He's spinning around. Looked like he traveled. Somehow it falls to Young. A baseline J doesn't go. And a board for Jackson Davis. He rushes it up. Kopp in the left corner thought about the three, but pulls it down. 4-point lead for the Hoosiers. Jackson Davis spins, turns in the lane, off the rim and in. Oh, pretty. Jackson Davis puts Scott in the spin cycle and gives Indiana a 6-point lead.
Jackson Davis is just taking control of this game right now, and that's exactly what the Hoosiers needed.
He's got 16. Maryland basketball. Ian Martinez into the game for the Terps at the top of the key. Now it's Hart. He'll hand off to Dante Scott, who's fronting much of the load in the backcourt for Maryland. He drives, has a seam in the lane, lost the ball, bounces off the backboard, and falls to Hood Schifino. 10-0 run for Indiana over the last 3 minutes. They lead by 6. JHS directing traffic for Indiana to Jackson Davis at the top of the key. The All-American left side to the senior Kopp. Back inside to Jackson Davis. Spins in the paint and is fouled as he puts one up off the glass. Doesn't go, but Jackson Davis will have 2 more. You are right, Max. This is one of the best players in the country trying to lead his team into the Big Ten Tournament semifinals.
Getting downhill, it's tough to stop Jackson Davis, especially once he gets inside the restricted area. There's no stopping him.
First for TJD is up and good. Indiana is still just 4 of 8 from the free-throw line. Jackson Davis missed his first 3 free throws. But the Hoosiers now lead by 7, and all the momentum on the Cream and Crimson side. An 11-0 run over the last 3:36. Second up for Jackson Davis is good. Make it a 12-0 run and an 8-point lead for Indiana. 10:30 left to play from Chicago. Here comes the majority Cream and Crimson crowd again. Young at the Big Ten logo, around his screen, puts his head down, spins in the lane, nothing there. Out to the top of the key, and Scott, junk step, bets it back out to Young. He'll just force up a 3, back iron no good. Battle between Jackson Davis and Hart. Whose ball is it? It is Maryland's ball. Actually, that was Reese who's back into the ball game. And he had a good fight with Jackson Davis to keep it Terps basketball. I guess Kevin Willard, I should say, just felt like he had to bring Reese back in, even with 4. Maryland basketball, 10 minutes left to play. Hoosiers by 8. Right side to Carey, who's also back into the ball game. To Young, he drives baseline, bowls over Renew. Oh, they're going to call the foul on Renew. Blocking foul on Malik Renew. Young bowled him over. And we'll have to get another look to see if Renew was moving. Foul's on the floor. It's the 5th on Indiana and the first on Renew.
I couldn't quite get a good look at that. I'm hoping for a replay. But a lot of tight calls here in this second half, especially down the stretch. Back to bringing Reese back in. I think Kevin Willard didn't really have any other choice. He needed his guy in.
Maryland basketball, Reese did a good job on Jackson Davis, especially in the first half. Young inside to Reese on the right block extended. Spinning in the lane is doubled, works through some traffic, right-handed hook shot, back iron no good. Jackson Davis with a ferocious rebound. And a little extra elbows thrown around to get Maryland out of the way. Tamar Bates on the left side for the Hoosiers, who lead by 8. Bates a 3, yes! Tamar Bates just throws up a 3, it goes in, and the lead has ballooned to 11. Timeout, Maryland. It's all Hoosiers in Chicago.
Top of the third inning from Washington, 1-0 lead for the Wild. Things over the Honors. Solo home run by Anthony Brocato to lead off the first inning. The lone run after 2 on a beautiful evening here from the western side of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Ethan Skinder leads off for the Otters against Zach Kirby, who's faced the minimum through 2. Reddy delivers home. Skinder takes a strike on the outside corner. Skinder, Khalil Bose, bottom 3 in the lineup, due up here in the third. Only base runner for the Otters, the Dakota Phil, was base hit in the second, and it was erased on the very next pitch as Yomar Reyes grounded into a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play. 0-1 from Kirby is ripped down the left field line. It's a fair ball. Rolling all the way to the corner. Skinder hustling around second as it's picked up by Cheka, who hold there a stand-up double for Ethan Skinder. That was roped down the left field line, and Skinder, after 2 days off, looking fresh at the plate. Right in on the hands. He hit it 100 off the bat, right down the line. It's all about keeping the hips still, not turning too much on the baseball. Exactly where you want to hit that. So a leadoff double for Skinder, first Otter in scoring position, and it brings up the shortstop, George Khalil. George, who got 9 games off, has had an excellent last 5 games, 10 hits in his last 5. First pitch home, swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Corner infielders are in here for Washington. Third baseman Darville aligned with the bag, and as is Check over at first. Shadows creeping across the diamond. They've crept over home plate. Still late evening sun on the mound. 0-1. Chopped left side, diving the shortstop. Clowers outside of his glove and bouncing into left field. Skinder sent. He'll score without a throw, and the Otters tie it at 1. George Khalil poking one past the shortstop Clowers and into left. An RBI base hit for George, who stays hot. And the Otters have their first run of the ball game here in the third. Leadoff double by Skinder, RBI base hit for Khalil. Rest is so big, and Skinder coming off a couple days off on this road trip looking fresh, and boy, has Khalil been playing some of his baseball this season after having over a week off. So that's the number 9 batter, Austin Bose, designated hitter. He shows bunt and lays one down the third base line. Charging in the third baseman, Darville, barehanded throw to first in time to get Bose by a step. Down to second goes Khalil. Now Darville was playing a couple steps in at third, read it well on a good bunt by Bose. But job well done when you're the number 9 batter. You're going to be asked to lay down some bunts, and Bose accomplishes that. He gives a fist bump to Noah Myers, who steps back up top of the order for the Otters with Khalil in scoring position and 1 out. Myers flew out to center to lead off the ballgame in the first. Wild Things are going to play into pull again with the second baseman DeBrule standing out a few steps into right. Pitch home. Myers swings and lost one high in the air to right center field. McNeely racing back under the baseball, makes the catch on the edge of the track. That ball just died out in right center field. Off the bat, you could tell McNeely was really scrambling, but just didn't carry out to right center. Balls do not carry much out to the gaps in the ballpark here. That fell for the center fielder. So 2 away with Khalil still at second. It brings up the ready left fielder, Gary Mattis. 1-1. Otters have tied it at 1 here in the third on a RBI base hit by Khalil. Pitch home. Mattis shows bunt, pulls it back, but not in time. They peel down to first. Drew Taylor says he went around. Drew Taylor at first, Jim Chalet at home, and Mike O'Leary at third base today. O'Leary was behind the plate yesterday. A 1 from Kirby. Looping breaking ball fouled right by Andy McCauley down the third base line.
Shadows are spread across most of the field. Some sun still peeking out on the mound. As a lot of trees up on the hills on the west side here of Wild Thing Stadium. Cause some interesting shadows here in the latter portion of the evening. The 0-2, swing and a miss. Slider falls out of the zone, and Mattis strikes out to end the third inning. Otters get one back, tie the game at 1. A leadoff double by Skinner, RBA base hit by Khalil. Middle of the third, Otters 1, Wild Things 1 on the Otters Digital Network. Bottom of the 5th inning for Wintrust Field. 5-1 lead for Evansville over Schaumburg. Otters offense putting together already by hits-wise their best performance of the week. 9 hits tonight through the first 5 innings, 5 runs, 2 in the first, 1 in the third, 2 more in the 5th. And Braden Scott dealing on the bump for Evansville. First batter of the game, he allowed a solo home run to Alec Craig. Since then, he has allowed just 2 base runners. Face Kyle Fitzgerald, already designated hitter, to lead off the 5th. The first pitch home, and for a strike to Fitzgerald, 0-1. 3 strikeouts for Scott and no walks. Similar to Tim Holgrave for last night, command has been excellent. 0-1. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Tim did not walk a batter last night, and Brandon Scott hasn't walked a batter so far tonight, so Otters pitching combined between arguably their 2 best starters at this point in the season. Brandon Scott and Tim Holgrave for them haven't walked a batter in 14 straight innings. 1-1. Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. These 2 pitchers make you excited if you're an Otters fan going into the playoffs. Tim Holgrave likely lined up to start the wild card game on Tuesday. The Otters win it. Braden Scott would be lined up to start the West Championship Series opener at Bosse Field next Thursday. Fitzgerald takes side, 3 balls and 1 strike. Scott kicks and delivers. Inside, ball 4. So, of course, there's the announcer's jinx. Talk about no walks and a leadoff walk. Now to Fitzgerald to start the bottom of the 5th. Fitzgerald at first. It will bring up the righty first baseman, Coco Figueredo. Scott working out of the stretch, delivers low, 1-0 to the ready Figueredo. Great Otters pitchers last 2 nights with Tim Holgrave for the complete game shutout. First complete game of the Otters season. Brandon Scott off to a strong start this evening. Just 1 run allowed here into the 5th. 1-0 coming to Figueredo. Kick and a delivery. Fastball right down the middle, 1-1. How about Logan Sawyer, though? Former Otters pitcher, was the Frontier League reliever of the year last season with Evansville. Big news to start the week for Logan. Called up from AA Springfield up to AAA Memphis. He's now just a step below the St. Louis Cardinals. 1-1. Figueredo hammers high in the air down the left field line. Hooking foul. Just missed a home run. Ball that just hooked to the left on the top of the grassy berm. And it might have hit off the wall. If that ball was fair, that was maybe a foot foul just over the wall down the left field line. Still a 1-2 count to Figueredo. Fitzgerald at first in the bottom of the 5th. 5-1 Otters lead. Pitch home from Braden. Line into left field. Coming in, Gary Mattis reaches up the glove and makes the catch, 1 away. Figueredo hit it hard, but almost right at Mattis. He took 3 steps in and made an easy catch. 1 away, Fitzgerald still at first. It brings up the ready center fielder, Zach Huffins. Winless, star-filled night here at Wintrust Field. It's a beautiful evening. First pitch home to Huffins, take it inside 1-0. So Logan Sawyer called up to AAA Memphis. on Monday. He had a really nice start to his return to the minor leagues with AA Springfield through much of the summer. 7 saves. He finished 25 games for the Cardinals. 1-0. Inside. 2 balls and no strikes. 59 strikeouts and 48 in the third. I certainly knew him as a strikeout machine that continued at AA, and now taking his talents to Memphis and the AAA Redbirds. 2-0 to Huffins. On the inside corner is strike. 2 balls to 1 strike. Made his season debut on Tuesday again with Memphis. Recorded an out and closed down an inning for the Redbirds. It's great to see former Otters succeeding at the next level. 2-1 is low. 3 balls to 1 strike to Huffins. And who knows that this time Sawyer was with the Otters. Who knows what one of these Otters next year could be as high as AAA, just a step below the majors. And I know with the Cardinals struggling too, they are in need of pitching. Certainly possible Logan Sawyer could find his way to Busch Stadium at the end of this month. I have no information to say so, but could happen. The 3-1 grounded left side and a full count. Especially at the end of a season, a non-contender like the Cardinals, always looking for pitching. How cool would that be? And the Otters were just in the shadows of Busch Stadium from our hotel across the Mississippi River in St. Louis. The Otters facing the Grizzlies. You could see Busch Stadium. Payoff coming to Huffins. Scott sets and throws. Huffins swings and drives one into right. Over is Noah Myers to make a jogging catch. And there's 2 away. 2 outs. Fitzgerald still at first. It brings up Will Prater. Now the guy who just caught that baseball, Noah Myers. To me, I think a affiliated organization would be foolish not to pick up Noah in the offseason for everything in Noah Myers' rookie season he's done for the Otters, and top 10 in the league in almost every offensive category as a rookie. Should easily win Frontier League Rookie of the Year, and he would be a great asset to any affiliated organization as Prater takes the first pitch strike. 0-1. Speed, power, getting on base. Great clubhouse guy. What more could he ask for? And certainly a guy that has all the talent in the world and is still young to work his way up an organization to the highest levels. 0-1, a bunt laid down the third base line by Prater. It's rolling foul and picked up by Phillips. 0-2. It's a crazy story, too, if you haven't heard it, how Logan Sawyer found out the Cardinals wanted him. He was back in his hometown in Knoxville, working on roofing. Was on the roof of a house installing some shingles, and the Cardinals called him last fall and said, hey, do you want to be a pitcher on our organization? And said, well, let me finish this roof first, and then, yeah, I think I'd like to come pitch for you guys. 0-2, grounded left side. Over to Austin Bose, the third baseman, collects long throw to first in time for the out. That's the first throw of the night for Austin Bose in his first start at third, and he passed with flying colors. A rocket of an arm from the rookie, and after a leadoff walk, another strong and scoreless inning for Braden Scott. We played 5 innings tonight. The Otters in front 5-1 on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Big Ten football weather here in Columbus. No score between Ohio State and Indiana. 12:01 left to play in the first quarter. Between the number 2 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes, and Indiana, 3-6 on the season, trying to snap a 6-game losing streak today. Both teams go 3 and out on their opening possessions, so it will be Ohio State football from the 35-yard line. Heavy set for the Buckeyes, just one receiver split out to the left. Stroud will hand it off, right up the middle. Mayan Williams breaks the tackle and dives forward out to the 45. First carry by Williams on the day. It's a pickup of 10.
I was surprised to see them not hand it off to him on their opening drive. Instead, it was all C.J. Stroud.
Buckeyes go quickly. Stroud, it's a toss to Williams, rolling to the right at the 45, breaks the tackle at the 50, down the sideline at the 40, and finally he's knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Jonathan Haynes finally ran him down, but it's a huge pickup
for Mayan Williams. Back-to-back big carries, and the Buckeyes are moving now.
And there you see the explosion from Williams, the ability to take the toss, bounce outside the tackles, run outside the numbers. A huge gain on first down. 32-yard run.
So Williams breaks the tackle. He's backed up Travion Henderson at times this season, but with Henderson banged up, it's often been Williams' game, and he's been excellent of late. 111 yards on the ground against the Wildcats last week in Evanston. 1st and 10 from the 26 of Indiana. Oh, it's an end around. It's Marvin Harrison working down the left side at the 25, looking for a blocker, breaks the tackle at the 20, going down the sideline at the 10, stumbling and brought down at the 5. What a patient run by Marvin Harrison, on an end around. They tossed it to Mayan Williams, who tossed it back to Harrison going the other way.
Yeah, that's always fun to watch, and you saw Harrison pushing in the back of his center, Luke Weipler, who was his lead blocker, leading him inside the 10.
Ryan Day races down the sideline to get the guy with the first down stick off the field. It's 1st and goal for Ohio State from the 5 on the left hash. Stroud fakes the handoff, looks to run himself, and is going nowhere. 2 Hoosiers are there to bring him down. A pickup of maybe 1 for Stroud. Actually, he's going to lose 1 on the carry. So 2nd and goal from the 6. Just over 10 minutes left to play in the first quarter, no score.
Interesting to see Stroud make these decisions on run pass options. Had the ability to take a snap and possibly look for a receiver, but took it himself for a loss.
2 wide receivers split out to the right. Williams sidecar in the backfield with C.J. Stroud, the Heisman Trophy candidates. Stroud takes the snap, deep drop under pressure, throwing right side, broken up, no flag, incomplete. Taiwan Mullen, good defense on Marvin Harrison, 3rd and goal.
It was outstanding coverage from Mullen. He got picked on last week, actually picked up an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty when there was just so much frustration boiling over for Indiana late in that ball game in the loss against Penn State, but Mullen bounces back and gets a pass breakup in the end zone for a stop.
First team All-American in 2020, Taiwan Mullen, bumpy last 2 years. In front of a big stage today. 3rd and goal for Ohio State. Hoosiers trying to hold the Buckeyes to 3. No score with 9:47 left to play. Stroud takes the snap, looking right, throwing, touchdown Buckeyes. Amike Ibuku with the catch. He was wide open in the right side of the end zone on the knee of Buckeyes, and Ohio State strikes first.
Yeah, just the opposite of what we saw on the play before with Mullen in tight coverage of the receiver, and instead Aguka, the redshirt freshman, gets his 8th touchdown on the season on his 50th reception. He's been a guy that's really filled in for the absence of Jackson Smith and Jigba.
So 6-0. Noah Ruggles out to attempt the point after for the Buckeyes. It's up and good. So here at snowy Ohio Stadium, the Buckeyes strike first. Mayan Williams had the big run, 37 yards to put the Buckeyes in scoring position. And on 3rd and goal, C.J. Stroud tosses his 30th touchdown of the season, finding Ibuka and putting the Buckeyes in front 7-0. We'll step aside, be right back from Columbus. 7-0 Ohio State on WIUX 99.1, your home for Hoosier Sports. Welcome back to Bill Armstrong Stadium in Bloomington. 0-0 the score between Indiana and Marshall in front of a large crowd on this Sunday night. The mist and rain, which was blowing around for 2 hours before the game. The first 15-30 minutes have subsided. Dry now, a little bit chilly, and Austin, this is going to be a fun last 45 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely, considering what's at stake for both these teams, a spot in the Elite 8 on the line. Of course, Indiana's got that match 18 months ago in the back of their heads, and Marshall trying to really compose themselves and turn themselves into a blue blood. We don't talk about this, but Marshall's a team that historically has not been all too good until late, and we know Indiana, the 8 college cups, second most all-time, only behind SLU, of course, the team who they just knocked out. So it's kind of a, I don't want to say master versus apprentice, but it's a team with a lot of history versus a team that's trying to get to that standard, and certainly has the players and the talent and the coaching as well to get them there. Curious to see what this second half brings.
Well, if you're just joining us, it was a
Back and forth first half. Indiana got off to a hot start. Marshall, felt like they settled more into the match. Coach Graxi talked to Audrey. He certainly felt that way. But Indiana had some good looks late in the half as well. Brought some momentum into the locker room. It's 5 shots to 4. Indiana to Marshall's. Only 2 shots on frame, both to the Hoosiers. The big difference, the corner kicks. 10 corners for Indiana and none for Marshall. 45 minutes, but maybe more to decide a spot in the NCAA quarterfinals. Just 3 more spots to be filled tonight. Across this great nation, this great time to be a soccer fan. World Cup, NCAA tournament, what more can you ask? Teams will sit sides of the field. Wind has settled down as well. Oh, bad turnover that falls to McDonald. Wittenbrink. Wittenbrink with some space. Osiunis clears it away. Right side, Sesak. Forward for Endely. The Hoosiers will play it back. What do you want to see from both sides, Austin? What do both sides need to do to try to come away with a win today?
I think Indiana, they have to be a bit more clinical in the final third.
Tried to do so here. Sesak into the box and just comfortably cleared away by Bamford on the back end.
I think number one is, of course, get the quality in the final third, especially with the 10 corners, the previous ones, this being 11, have to be a bit better. Wittenbrink has delivered most of them.
Wittenbrink will take the corner at the near flag. Of course, flipping sides of the field. Dangerous right foot of Wittenbrink. He's red hot for the Hoosiers. Last 6 games, has a point in every game. 3 goals, 3 assists. Wittenbrink into the box. Far post, score! Brett Beebe gives Indiana a 1-0 lead. Another look, Austin.
There's that quality in the final third. Beebe just wins his header against the height right at the top of the 6, and what a time to score such a big goal. Didn't have the best first half maybe on his accounts on the defensive end, but definitely made up for it. What a great delivery by Wittenbrink. It only takes him some time. He'll get enough chances, and finally Indiana does in fact get that goal. Took him to the 76th minute last week against SLU. This time barely 2 minutes into this second half.
The corner kicks finally pay off. They had 10 corners in the first half, couldn't score on the first of the second half. Wittenbrink with the assist. Brett Beebe with his 3rd goal of the season, just his 4th of his career. The senior defenseman out of Shorewood, Illinois, with a moment he'll never forget, especially if Indiana holds this lead.
Here with Carter Matheson. Carter, a 2-home-run day for you to lead IU to a win over Illinois. How you feeling right now?
I feel great. It's a big win. They're a good team, and we competed well.
You now have 13 home runs on the season. You're 1 shy of the IU freshman record with his Alex Dickerson, an MLB player. Have you been keeping track of that? What's been the key to your power?
No, I don't keep track of it at all. I just hit the ball where it's pitched, and wherever it goes, it goes.
Well, you guys now have back-to-back Big Ten Series wins, and you beat a really good Illinois team. What's been the key the last couple weekends for you guys?
Just never giving up, competing all game, and the game's never over, so just never giving up.
Offense has been electric. 1 month left to go. How do you guys keep it up, make the Big Ten tournament?
Just keep competing up at the plate, don't throw away at bats, and just do what we've always done all year.
Congratulations, Carter. Tonight, the Hoosiers, not losers. Indiana gets an 80-65 victory over Illinois and one of the best wins on the road of the Mike Woodson era. For the Hoosiers, it all started with Trace Jackson Davis. 35 points, a Big Ten career high.
My thing is to put him in position to be successful. He's got to finish it, and I thought tonight, we went to him. I mean, I rode him. 90% of the plays was geared to get him the ball.
Illinois and Brandon Underwood decided not to double. It did not pay off. Trace Jackson Davis, now nearly fully healthy from his injury, dominated, especially in the second half after Illinois cut the deficit to 10 at the half. Jackson Davis's dominance in the first 5 minutes of the second half key to an IU victory.
Before the game, he said they probably won't start off doubling you, and so you just got to go play, and so that's what I did, and then they just never sent it. Sometimes they crowd a little bit, and I kicked it out or kicked it to JG or tried to make the right play, but most of the night they let me get a crab dribble into the middle.
After 3 straight losses to start 2023, suddenly Indiana on a 2-game win streak. What's changed for the Hoosiers? Well, it starts on defense.
And we just needed time to just figure things out. A lot of people wrote us off because of those 2 games, but I mean, we're still 3-4, and we just got to keep grinding.
An impressive victory for the Hoosiers. Indiana a chance for a 3-game win streak now as they head to Michigan State on Sunday after silencing the crowd on the road here in the State Farm Center. Certainly today, the Hoosiers are no losers. In the State Farm Center, reporting for the Hoosier Network, Griffin Epstein.